So the last time I spoke about Wizkid here was 2 weeks ago, I think during the Grammy event, and I talked about him and his professionalism and his team and a lot more. When I also mentioned that some people really need to be learning from him and also Burna Boy, and I made sure that I was very constructive with what I said, and a lot of people came and said a lot of things. And prior to that, I made mention of his earnings on Spotify. I also explained what Spotify is and the global recognition of Spotify, its importance, its essence, its value in the streaming industry, and also its impact to the lives of the artists and celebrities at large, especially in the music industry. And I mentioned that this earnings then was $1 million, and I also detailed it and broke it down the same way Spotify actually did. Now, today, of course, you all know that there are so many good news surrounding Wizkid, so many good news surrounding the young man. That is the reason why I say that sometimes when you look at his talent, you look at also his skill, then you also consider his grace. Honestly, that guy is just a chosen one. I can't say less about him. And as you all know, I do not deal on fake news. I do not deal on news that has no ground. I do not deal on news that has to do with blogs. I usually go to the source to find out if this is true or not. So very much recently, the notable Forbes actually released a list of billionaires, accomplished individuals in the different niches and made it very public. And in the category of the richest musicians in Nigeria, Wizkid Ayo Balogun actually emerged as the number one, the richest among them all. And this is not something that should bring about arguments because the data is actually there. When I mention Spotify earnings, when I mention other earnings, when I mention the Thor earnings, when I mention the fact that this guy has little endorsement in Africa and most of his endorsement is abroad, and I think none in Nigeria, if not for UBA, this is to tell you that if this guy is staying at this very spot, it is telling you that there is more hitting behind the scene that meets the eye. You understand? And I know that that is true because it is very evident. Now, I'll be reading it out the same way Forbes actually listed it. Now, in Nigeria, the richest musicians, according to Forbes, are number one, Wizkid Ayo Balogun, with a net worth of $15 million. Number two, Burna Boy. I always mention the young man's name. $40 million. Don Jazzy, $30 million. Davido, $15 million. Olamide, $10 million. Now, about Olamide, you might want to doubt Olamide, but then do not doubt it because Olamide has actually raised two kings in the industry who are actually globally recognized, Achake and Fireboy. So I do not doubt that when I saw that list, when I saw that his name was featured. Maximum respect for Olamide, I give it to you, sir. You really have done well in the industry by raising a lot of individuals, and you really understand the concept of human investment. Each time I mention the sources where I get his data from, like Spotify, the reason why Grammy is recognizing this guy often and on, most of you guys will always come to tell me it is politics, it is this, it is that. Now, Forbes has actually listed this young man again as the richest in Nigeria. Now, look at the gap he gave Don Jazzy. I'm not even talking about the video here. I don't even want to bring about the video. So you guys will not say that I'm actually mentioning this guy every now and again. Look at the gap he gave to Don Jazzy. Look at the gap he gave to all of them, actually. Do you know why this is possible? Professionalism and knowing what you're doing. See, I will keep saying this every now and again. This guy understands this game. He understands the music industry more than anybody in this very country. Yes, yes. That is the reason why he's actually at that very spot. You also need to understand that there is a metrics, there's a method of getting all this data. Forbes can't just possibly just wake up one morning and start bring. No. The leverage on data, real life data. Now, I want to help you understand how Forbes and other platforms go about this very thing to get all this data that, they sum up together to give the recognition to those who actually deserve it. Now, number one is that they leverage public records. They go through the stock market filings. They go through real estate ownerships and public reports. Number two, endorsement and deals, partnerships, brand partnerships, sponsorships, and media reports. Now, understand that there is no way a company will endorse an artist and you won't see that artist's name or artist image on their page, social media page, website, or whatsoever. They must announce that we've actually endorsed this person or we are in partnership with this very person. This is for marketing purpose. Every company that endorses an artist or any celebrity would want you to know that they're actually partnering and working with this person so that they can buy your influence. So brands like Forbes and Grammys would do so much to get this data. They know more than you and I. It's their business. So as long as it's their business, they will do so much. They listen, they pay for confidential reports to make sure that they're not leveraging on the wrong data. Number 3, music and streamings. Now understand that Forbes analyzed streaming numbers, concert earnings, and also royalties from platforms like Spotify and YouTube. Now remember that I said last time that Wizkid earns $1 million in a single month on Spotify. So you see that the whole data is actually corresponding. Not that if they give you this very data, you see that it doesn't correspond with the data people are saying. See, we are not doing on hearsay. We are doing on data. Let's get the real data. Number 4, insider sources. They speak with their managers. They speak with their accountants. They speak with industry experts to verify these contracts so that they can't just be giving out recognition to those who don't deserve it. Number 5, debt and liabilities. Now understand that not all wealth is cash. Forbes had to deduct debt. They deduct loan to get the real data, to get the real figure that you actually have. Not by you bought this one, you bought this one. At the same time, do you really have that value? What if you're actually in debt? Now, about this very number 5, I want to break it down for you so you understand how this thing works. Now, if, for example, if a billionaire owns a $50 million mansion and owes $20 million on it, right? What Forbes do is not to calculate the whole total amount for him. Forbes only calculates $30 million as part of their wealth. You talk about taxes. If a celebrity owes unpaid taxes, they deduct all those things, right? If you as a brand, if you as an artist, if you as a musician actually owns a company, they deduct all those things. Now, if Wizkid has actually maintained this spot with a margin of, see, $50 million, if Wizkid has actually maintained this very spot after all these verifications, it will go back to what I've been saying before. Una and this boy no be mate. If una see this boy for dream, we're gonna greet him. If we're see him for real life, we're gonna greet him. When this boy no be mate. Now in all of this, the secret offshores account is not included. And understand that people like Wizkid, who is always found mostly abroad, will have all of this. But we know that he's way worth more than that. Way worth, many of them that is actually listed here, not really him alone, but if he's actually at the top at $50 million, think about what this young man was behind the scene. I will never be broke in my life.